Diablo 4 loot guide. The waypoint is going to be located between Skosglen and the Dry Steppes. The waypoint that you want to head to is called Firebreak Manor. And the dungeon is literally just south of this waypoint called Demon's Wake. This dungeon has been one of my favorites so far. There's tons of elites. The dungeon takes you no time to clear whatsoever. If you pop an elixir, you should get half a Paragon point every single time you run this dungeon. You can probably get a little bit more if you get lucky with cursed shrines and cursed chests. Now this dungeon, unlike the other ones I've recorded in other videos, this is only a 2-part dungeon. Part 1, you need to go and find 2 shaman idols to kill. These are elite mobs. Well, the shaman idol's an elite mob. It's just a stationary item, but once you kill that item, an elite mob will spawn. This will give you a chance for more experience, as well as a chance for legendary and sacred and ancestral items that will drop off these mobs. There's also champion packs, which I just took out just then. Now, this dungeon, when you enter every single time, the entry to the second part of the dungeon will be on your left or your right. You essentially want to do a big circle of the dungeon. Now, here we had a couple of elite packs, as well as an idol. So when we killed the idol, we got another elite spawn. And as you can see, there's tons of fire mechanics. So if you're a melee class, make sure you keep moving around, otherwise you will die. So tons of experience off that pack alone, as well as items. And we got lucky with the Cursed Shrine in this run through. I sped the footage up pretty quickly here. But if you get all 5 of 5 done in the mastery, you're also going to get a gold chest and an extra elite at the end of the timer, which is another chance for more loot. So this one's first section of the dungeon literally is enough of a run through. So if you want to do it quickly, just do this first section, reset the dungeon, go again. However, my advice is run both sections of the dungeon, because not only is it really quick, we've got another elite pack spawn up the top here, which is just unreal. We're pretty much already a quarter way through this Paragon level, just in section 1 of the dungeon. We've already come across over 10 unique packs. We've already had a Cursed Shrine. Like, if I haven't sold this dungeon to you on section 1, just wait for section 2. The only downside to this dungeon difficulty-wise is there's lots of exploding packs, poison and fire, so you do need to be careful. Keep your finger on spacebar and your potions. Section 2. Now, this is slay all enemies. I'm not too sure if you're aware of this, but with slay all enemies, it's okay to run past the enemies because they will catch up to you later on. Now, what I mean by this is every time you see a slay all enemy mechanic in this game, look at the top right-hand side of the map and find lots of red dense mobs. These are the mobs that you want to take out. As you progress through this section of the dungeon, as you kill more and more mobs, what will happen is the stragglers will automatically catch up to you, which means you don't need to backtrack at all. I know it's counterintuitive that you almost want to go back and kill the red mob. Don't. Just keep hitting the W key and moving forward. Now, this dungeon, we got a Cursed Shrine and a Cursed Chest. And the good thing about Cursed Chests, more loot, another elite pack to kill. So this dungeon is just, it's quick, it's fast. It's good because you do need to be on your toes. Here's another elite pack, 4 elites in the one spot. These all have a chance to drop legendaries, ancestral, sacred items. Again, be careful because they do explode. There's lots of fire mechanics in this dungeon. Now, the best thing of this dungeon is this mechanic right here, enemy horde incoming. So as you progress through killing mobs, this will trigger. I think this can trigger up to 2 or 3 times in this dungeon alone. Essentially what will happen is a whole bunch of mobs will just spawn onto your location, which will have elite mobs. So be careful, because when they do spawn, they can take you out pretty quickly. Make sure you've got a defensive ready to rock and roll. This section here was just a dense pack of elite mobs. And as you can see here, there's just so many mobs to kill. I think I actually missed a gold chest in this run through, which is that one at the pylon there, because my backpack was already full. So when I say you're going to get a lot of loot and a lot of experience, this dungeon I found today has been just surreal. I've ran it a few times just to make sure it wasn't a fluke, and trust me, you're going to get almost 2 backpacks worth full of loot and half a Paragon point every single time you run through. Now, as you can see, there was about 10 mobs remaining, and then we got another enemy horde jump on our face, and it popped the enemy mobs up to 23 or so. So that's twice it's happened in this run through. And the best thing about this is once you take out that last mob, the boss will spawn on you. Now, you'd think with slay all enemies, all the mobs would be dead. Funnily enough, when I was looking at the loot for the run through here, a random mob just came up and hit me. So just be careful when you're checking the loot at the end of the run, because apparently even though it's slay all enemies, there might be one more enemy left over. So I'm going to quickly take out this mob that just started hitting me. Catch you later, mate. And check out my inventory. So this is a full backpack of inventory loot. I've got a couple of elites. I've got a really good roll on that sacred item there. I had to drop items, so I could have had 2 backpacks worth full of loot. Hope you guys enjoyed the dungeon. It's super quick, super fast. Peace out, guys. Have a lovely night.